So Prophet Abraham, when he was searching for the Creator, he saw the sun, and he thought the sun was the God. But then the sun set. So then he saw the moon, and thought the moon was the God, and then the sun came back up. So he was in search for that superior being, because he knew inside of him that this didn't happen haphazardly. So there has to be a superior being that set this life and created this world. So there's two things that I can prove to you. You know, that the existence of a God, that there's only one God, and as our previous speaker said, that the book of the Quran, the words of God, that revealed to all humanity. And as Muslims, we don't believe Islam is a new religion, but it is the completion of all previous religions that were sent and revealed. So, to satisfy this instant, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, God, He sent us different prophets and messengers. From Prophet Adam to Prophet Abraham, Moses, and all these different prophets, Jesus, till, and the last prophet being Prophet Muhammad, to send us guidance. Because He didn't leave us without guidance. So He sent the Bible at the time of Jesus, the Torah, and so forth. And then at the last prophet, the seal of prophets, He sent the Quran. And what makes the Quran different from every other revelation is that God promised to protect it from ever being changed. And for the past 1400 years, if you go to anywhere around the world, whether it's China or Africa or Asia or the US or Canada, and you ask any person for a Quran, they'll bring you the same exact Quran. Why? Because this is a promise from the Creator to protect it. And it even talks about the previous books that were sent, and also stories that took place in the history. And as many scientists and Orientalists tried to prove it wrong, at the end, they found out that this Quran can never be proven wrong. Until this day, the challenge is always to come up with one verse or ayah like it. So, I encourage everyone tonight, I don't know if they have any copies outside, but to at least, or even go online, to take a look at the Quran. See why we read this Quran, what's different about it. And believe it or not, there's a lot of similar stories in the Quran as previous books that were sent. So with the idea that there's no God that exists, I have to make sure that I'm fully convinced that there is a God, and that God does exist, and that He has no father, no son, and is free of wants and needs. And He sent His prophets and messengers, including Jesus, for this one message of belief in one God. And and I encourage anyone if you decide to read the Quran, to read Surah or chapter number 19, the story of Mary. And she describes her life and how the birth of Jesus took place. And how the first thing he said is that I'm nothing but a slave of God, not the son of God. And this is the first words he uttered when he was born, when he came out of the womb of his mother, that he's not a son of God, but a slave of God. Like as we're speaking right now, they're feeding 300 homeless people downtown every single week. So they have done so many amazing things. They have excelled in so many different fields, in engineering, in doctors, in business, in media, and so forth. So we have done so many things in these fields. The only thing that separates us, which is a very important concept, is that belief. And I encourage everyone just to think about it. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Thank you, and have a good night.
Okay, right now we just have a few questions. Outside we put like a box where you could put in questions and you'd write them down on a slip of paper. We are going to address these questions right now.
The God of history.
I think it I want to open the floor to more questions, and I think that others have as well. And in a civil society, people are able to agree to disagree, and I think
look, I'm not trying to disagree. I'm trying to point out.
I'm going to ask that you give the microphone to the next questioner.
And it wasn't that. Yeah.
Change his religion to a Christian, it says in the Quran it can't be done, he will be killed. Why is that?
Okay, actually I read the Quran and I memorized very big part of the Quran, and there is no such verse in the Quran that says a Muslim should be killed if he changes his religion. As a matter of fact, there is a